Hi and welcome back to Guitar Club. Today I'm going to be looking at this Squier Classic Vibe Jazzmaster from 2022. Couple of things that I want to do with this one. I want to change the tremolo because it's not got the locking button on it. So I've ordered one with a locking button. But more importantly, there's an issue with the tone circuit on this one. And if you can hear that, it sounds like the tone is full on all the time. Volume control works, pickup selector's working, but no tone control on it, either pickup. So I'm thinking there's obviously an issue with the tone control here. And on the rhythm circuit, the volume's working okay. Not sure what's happening with the tone on that one. That doesn't sound quite right either. It sounds more like a volume control, to be honest. So I'll have a look, gonna have a complete look at that and see what's going on. Both pickups are working, I've checked those. So we're gonna have to take the strings off, remove the tremolo unit, which I'll do later on, and also remove the scratch plate with all the electrics on it, and we'll have a look and see what's going on behind there. See what happens with the tone control. Why that's, I suspect someone's tried to modify it and made a mistake, or maybe something's shorting out, but the tone, or it seems to be permanently, there's something wrong definitely, because the tone circuit on this basically isn't working properly at all. So first thing we need to do is to get the strings off so that we can take this tremolo unit out, and then once the strings are off, we'll be able to get to the scratch plate and remove it. The bridge actually goes through the scratch plate on this one, so that needs to come off anyway so that I can take out the electrics. So I'll get a screwdriver and we'll take that off once we've got the strings off. So we should just loosen off the strings. As you can see, this uses the vintage style tuners, which does make it a lot easier to change the strings and take them off. We can just loosen that one off and then they just pop out. And actually you can put them back in again, which is handy. So if you've got decent strings on a guitar, when you're doing a change, you can see, there we are, it just pops out. So we will take all these off individually. I might save them to reuse them. They're actually quite new by the look of it. So there we are. So we'll come back once we've taken the strings off, and then we'll look at the removing the tremolo unit. Now that we've got the strings off, that we can lift off the bridge. As you can see, it just sits in place on a Jazzmaster. And now we should be able to lift out the scratch plate with all the electrics in it and have a look at that. So we'll just do that. I don't know, it might become immediately evident as soon as we can look at the electrics what the problem is. Okay, now that we've released the scratch plate, we can lift that up and let's have a look and see if we can see what the problem is. Nothing obvious. It's interesting. Have they rewired it incorrectly? That all looks factory. Everything is okay. So what have we got going on here? Is it this? I think these two are touching. Yeah, I think that's probably all it is. Let's try and see if that solves the problem. So I think this had got pushed over, if you can see that. This end lug of the tone control had got pushed over, so it was always in contact with the capacitor here. So it took that completely out of the circuit. Now, whether that's because it's a tight fit, I don't think so. No, it looks okay. So what we'll do is we'll just flip that over out the way, plug it back in, and see if we can hear the tone circuit in action. If we can, it's going to be a very simple fix. It's interesting how little difference the tone circuit made in the on the rhythm circuit. So I'll have it, but that doesn't appear to have been changed. I was expecting it to be a lot more muffled. A lot of people have said that the tone circuit here is very aggressive and it's unusable, but actually the bridge pickup sounded reasonably clear on this. So just turn it back on so we can hear what's going on. Right, so that's my amp reconnected. So which circuit are we on here? That's on the main circuit, I think. That's bridge. That sounds more like it. Yep. So that was all the problem was that one of the lugs was connected directly to the capacitor all the time. So it would never have worked as a tone circuit. I'm surprised they hadn't sorted that out, but whether that was from the factory or not, I don't know, but I know we're ticking. Right, so I think while I'm here, I'll put some cable ties and just tidy up the wiring a little bit if I can. Let's see. That one needs to go. I think if we put a cable tie on these bundle of wires, that will tidy things up a little bit. Let's see if we can find one. Mind you, having said that, if I do that, it's going to make it quite difficult to take it out with the wires in place. So maybe we won't. I'll leave them in as they are. So we just tuck those neatly in there. There's plenty of space for it to go behind the neck pickup there. So tuck those wires in there. So we learned from repeating these jobs. There's a wire stuck there on the wrong side of the pot, which is preventing it from reseating properly. Now, whether that's me or whether it was always like that, might be why something similar happened to the tone one, maybe. So I just remove this again and see if we can reseat it. It's always worth checking this stuff when you're replacing a pickguard, especially on this guitar, because there's way more wires than it would be with a normal circuit. So what have we got stuck on there? Yeah, I see. Which is the way that they've routed it. So we just tuck that in there out the way. That probably is what caused the original tone circuit to short, because the wire was pushing against it, and probably when they put it back on, it caused it to push the lug across. Oh, there's a lot of wires here to tuck out of the way. See, it's getting caught again there. That's better. The next job is to remove this tremolo unit. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws holding this in place. So for those of you that haven't seen the Jazzmaster wiring at all, it's an interesting one in that you've got a switch here which completely disables all of these controls and just enables the neck pickup with its own volume and tone, and it's a different tone value on this. The capacitor's a different value, and then you can switch that back and it then disables these and enables the normal 3-way toggle for the 2 pickups and the normal volume and tone controls. So it gives you separate voicings for the guitar. The reason I'm changing this is because this one doesn't have the slot which allows you to lock the tremolo in place. And for a fairly small amount of money we can change that over. I want to see how the locking element works on here as well, because it doesn't seem to click in or anything, it just pushes in. From what I've seen, these trem units on the Jazzmasters are very simple and very nice actually. I think it's a much better system, much less complex system than you get on something like a Strat. Just a single spring on a metal plate. You can adjust, there's a spring there, there's a screw there which will allow you to adjust the tension on the spring so that you can change the tension on here. And what a lovely piece of engineering, it's just really simple. I much prefer that to the Strat with all the springs and the block. It's just the strings go through the back of here, and then this will then move that, and there's just a pivot on the inside. So the strings go through the back of this, and then there's a pivot on the inside here, which that plate moves on, so that when you move the trem bar, it just releases that a tiny bit. Yeah, nice system. We'll see what the replacement one comes out like. We'll still hang on to this one as a spare, or maybe sell it. These are just slotted to allow the tremolo arm to push in. Let me show you. So the trem arm just pushes through and gets gripped in the tighter section here. It's okay, I suppose. It grips it quite well. Stops it from swinging about. It's not very positive. I'd prefer something that actually clicked into place myself, but we'll see if the new one has that. If not, I might loosen that off a little bit. Don't know, we'll see. I've seen some of the more expensive ones seem to click into place, which I think I would prefer, but having said that, it goes in quite firmly. We shall see how we get on. So I'll stop for there and wait till we get our replacement, and then we'll show you the fitting of that and what the differences are between the two, and then we'll put it all back together. Right, here's the unpacking part for those of you that are thrilled to see people unpack things. So let's see what we've got in here. We have a new locking tremolo unit from Cache Music. It includes a trem arm, very similar to the original one, except it includes the locking nut. I'll show you that. So the only real difference is this bit here, which will slide under that once it's extended. Let's try the arm in this one, see what it's like. Feels very similar to the original. Slots in there. Allows that to come down. Thing quite a bit tighter than the original one. You see some branding on the inside there, so it's cache. Quite like that, the fact that it's on the inside rather than the outside. This one does actually slot all the way through. The other one was a bit too tight. That's probably a bit better. Yeah, I like that. So, next thing we'll do is fit that to the guitar. Here's the rustling noises. This is my cat sitting on the box. Right, so I'll line this up. Yeah, that lines up really nicely. Let's take the plastic off before we fit it on, otherwise it's going to be a nightmare trying to take it off once the screws are in place. Get the trem on back out. Ooh, shiny. I think the weight and so on is almost identical to the original one, I would have said. But it feels very nice, maybe a bit more solid. Yes, the new one, you can see, the new one is much more substantial than the original. That's the new one. That's the original. You can see the thickness of the steel there is quite a bit more. Let's weigh it, shall we? So the original weighs 292 grams. And the new one weighs 311, so it's only 20 grams heavier. Surprising that, I thought it felt like more, but that's probably the weight of the this little stud. Right, let's pop that back in there. As with all of these larger screws, I'm going to retighten them by hand, because using a power screwdriver is likely to chew the threads up. And also, when you place them in, turn them anti-clockwise first until you feel a little click, which is where it finds the thread that was originally there from the original time it was tightened. That way you won't create a new thread or strip it out. Well, new trem system fitted. The original one is very slightly thicker, it wouldn't even fit in there, so, but that fits, it slots in quite nicely. Yep, I like that, that's good. So next thing is restring it, and then we'll try it out. It's the first time I've tried it out since we did the rewiring. And now that the work's completed, here's the guitar. It's a Squier Classic Vibe Jazzmaster. We've now got the new tremolo system fitted with a locking button so that it will lock in place, and you can slide that out the way for normal use. Quick review, I think it's a really comfortable guitar to play. Lots of different variety of sound, because you've got 4 different tone selections. You've got the rhythm circuit up here, you've then got the normal 3 tone selections down there from the pickups. So I think it's very versatile. I'm happy with the new tremolo unit. I wanted this locking button. The main advantage of having the lock is that if you were to break a string halfway through, it won't pull all the others sharp. So the next thing to do are some tone samples, where I'm going to connect directly to the laptop so you can hear it as it should be heard. I hope you enjoy these, and please like and subscribe and follow the channel. Thank you.